All right, folks, we're getting back to part two of the Malzberg panel. We'll pick it up with C. Edmund Wright responding with his answer to what we were talking about a moment ago. But first, I want to remind all of you to go get the new book by Newsmax contributor and political analyst Dick Morris. It's called Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation. I urge you to go get this copy of it's a #1 Amazon bestseller. It's been that way for almost 2 months. Everybody's talking about it and reading it. Go to powergrab411.com. That's powergrab411.com and get your copy now. And now we go back to the Malzberg panel with columnist and contributing editor for TheRoot.com, David Swerdlick, and columnist at Breitbart.com and American thinker, C. Edmund Wright. And Edmund, I know it was your turn to respond.
Yeah, talking about the Gruber tape, the 3 tapes, I guess, 3 videos that are out now. You know,
and that he did call the American voters stupid.
Well, I think what he did, Steve, too, I think he called the media stupid, because I think the subtext there that's pretty easy to understand is that if the media had had any intellectual curiosity whatsoever, none of this would have actually fooled the voters. And it didn't fool about 60% of the voters. At least are in the public opinion polls on Obamacare pretty consistently. So he was fooling the media and just enough voters to get this passed is what he was doing. But a bigger picture, Steve, this is the Obama administration. Academia nuts, all kind of degrees. They've never been in the real world, and yet they insist they know how to run the real world better than those who actually do it. That is what Obamacare is. That is what Gruber is. That is what the Obama administration is, with almost nobody with free enterprise experience. Almost none.
David?
Well, look, Senator Hatch was on the show earlier. He didn't sound too anxious. He sounded real lukewarm about repealing the Affordable Care Act. This was, this was Mitt Romney's plan, someone who has lots of free market experience, lots of private sector experience. I was not a huge proponent of the Affordable Care Act, but Republicans have not put anything out there that's more workable, more implementable, better, could save more money. So I'm just, I'm less inclined to think that Republicans really have a head of steam on this issue.
All right. Well, first of all, Hatch does have a plan, and so do some other senators have a plan. I think we'll see a plan emerge very soon. But I want to move on, guys, before we run out of time. Michael Brown's attorneys, any day now, the consensus is we're going to get this grand jury decision. I kind of laugh when Michael Brown's attorneys urge restraint on the part of both the protesters and the police. Again, David, police have to react to protect themselves and to protect the public and to protect businesses and the community. And if you got a crowd of 1,000 or 2,000 or even 100 and a Molotov cocktail flies or a bottle flies, the police have to go into a whole separate mode than they were in prior to that occurrence.
Steve, we've talked about this over and over again. Look, every responsible commentator, every responsible civil rights leader, from every prominent person involved in this, from Reverend Sharpton on down, has said publicly that they are calling for people to respond to this with calm and order, etc. If anybody does something that's not peaceful, they burn something down, breaks a window, they should be arrested and prosecuted. But look, most of the protests around this issue have been peaceful, and the police behavior around this issue has been far from exemplary. So I just don't know what there else is to say at this point until we see what happens next week.
Well, Edmund, before we have a minute left, what about the rhetoric from, they say they call for calm, but you got Van Jones on TV. You have the attorney for the Brown family saying that this process isn't fair. And then they list the reasons why it's not fair. And the verdict of the grand jury should not be respected and cannot be respected unless it comes out their way. Isn't that really the equivalent of calling for unrest?
Well, yeah, and they're letting the surrogates do that while those in elected office can officially hide behind these pablum statements that don't mean anything. It's really nice to give a platitude of wanting everybody to be calm. And, oh, by the way, slipping in a moral equivalency between the protesters and the cops, which is absurd. But clearly Eric Holder and Barack Obama have not done enough to aggressively say, look, the evidence is being viewed. Wait
Right.
until it comes out.
That's not true.
All right,
the president
Edmund,
spoke about
guys,
that.
got to go see Edmund Wright, David Swerdlick. David, next time, as I think I'm fair with this, you'll get the last word. You did last time. We're coming back, folks. Don't go away.